Imagine waking up tomorrow morning, but it's not 2026. It's the year 1347. You have no phone, no clean water, no medicine, and a mysterious disease is spreading through your village. 9 out of 10 people your age are already dead. And you're about to find out why. This is why you wouldn't survive medieval Europe. Let's start with your morning. You wake up on a pile of straw, not a mattress, actual straw from the barn. The room smells like a combination of sweat, smoke, and something rotting that you can't quite identify. You won't be brushing your teeth. Toothbrushes don't exist yet. In fact, most people in medieval Europe had black, rotting teeth by the age of 25. The average person lost their first tooth before they turned 20. Now let's talk about the bathroom situation. There is no bathroom. You share a hole in the ground with your entire family, and sometimes your neighbors. If you're in a city, people throw their waste directly out of the window onto the street below. There was even a law in some cities that required you to shout, "Watch out below," before throwing it. And bathing? Forget about it. Most medieval Europeans bathed maybe once or twice a year. The church actually taught that bathing too often was sinful. They believed it opened your pores to disease. So the dirtier you were, the holier you were. Let that sink in. Your clothes? You own exactly one outfit. Maybe 2 if you're lucky. You've been wearing the same thing for months. There's no washing machine, and soap is a luxury that only the rich can afford. Your clothes are crawling with lice and fleas. But here's the thing, you don't even notice any of this, because everyone around you smells the same. Everyone looks the same. This is just normal life. And this is still the easy part of your day. Because breakfast is about to get interesting. Breakfast doesn't exist as a concept. The church considers it a sin of gluttony to eat before noon. So your first meal is lunch, and it's not great. If you're a peasant, and 90% of people were, you're eating something called pottage. It's basically a thick soup made from whatever vegetables you can find, boiled in water for hours. You eat the same pottage every single day. Meat? That's for rich people. The average peasant ate meat maybe 3 or 4 times a year, usually during religious festivals. And when they did get meat, it was often spoiled. There were no refrigerators, no preservatives. You just cut the mold off and hoped for the best. But here's the part that might actually make you sick. The bread. Medieval bread was ground using stone mills, and tiny pieces of stone would break off and end up in the flour. So every time you ate bread, you were literally chewing on rocks. This is why medieval skeletons have teeth ground down to almost nothing. And the water. You absolutely cannot drink the water. Rivers are open sewers. Wells are contaminated. This is actually why everyone, including children, drank beer instead. Not because they were alcoholics, because beer was safer than water. The brewing process killed most bacteria. A typical medieval child drank about 1 liter of weak beer every day. So to recap your day so far, you woke up covered in fleas, you can't brush your teeth, you ate rock bread, and you're washing it down with beer. And we haven't even gotten to the dangerous part yet. Disease was the #1 killer in medieval Europe, and the king of all diseases was the Black Plague. In just 4 years, between 1347 and 1351, the plague killed between 75 and 200 million people. Let me put that in perspective. That's roughly 1 out of every 3 people in Europe. Imagine looking at your family. One of you isn't making it. How did you catch it? Fleas. Remember those fleas we talked about in your bed and your clothes? They carried the plague from rats to humans. One flea bite, and within 3 to 5 days, you'd develop massive black swellings in your armpits and groin. They were called buboes. That's where the name bubonic plague comes from. The treatments, if you can call them that. Doctors would cut open the swellings and drain them. They would place live chickens on your body to draw out the evil. Some doctors recommended sitting between 2 large fires. Others told patients to drink a mixture of crushed emeralds. None of it worked. If you caught the plague, you had about a 60% chance of dying within a week. But the plague wasn't your only worry. Dysentery, typhoid, smallpox, and tuberculosis were all common killers. A simple cut on your finger could turn into a fatal infection within days. There were no antibiotics, no antiseptics. If your wound turned green, you were in serious trouble. Here's a number that tells you everything. The average life expectancy in medieval Europe was 31 years. Not because people aged faster, but because so many died as children. About 30% of all babies died before their first birthday. If you survived childhood, you might reach 50 or 60. But surviving childhood was the hard part, and if disease didn't get you, there was always violence. Because medieval Europe wasn't just dirty and sick, it was incredibly brutally violent. War was constant. Between the Crusades, the 100 Years' War, and countless local conflicts, there was almost no period of peace. If your lord went to war, you went too. You didn't have a choice. You were given a sharpened stick and told to march. No training, no armor, just you and a pointy stick against professional soldiers. The punishments for crimes were designed to terrify you. Steal a loaf of bread. Your hand gets cut off. Speak against the king. Your tongue gets removed. Commit a serious crime. You might be hanged, burned alive, or broken on the wheel. Which is exactly as horrible as it sounds. Your limbs were systematically broken with a heavy iron wheel while you were still alive. Public executions were entertainment. Entire families would come to watch. Vendors would sell food and drinks. It was like a festival. The most popular execution method in England was hanging, drawing, and quartering. First, you were hanged until almost dead. Then your organs were removed while you were still conscious. Then your body was cut into 4 pieces and sent to different corners of the kingdom as a warning. Even if you stayed out of trouble with the law, random violence was everywhere. Bandits controlled the roads between towns. If you traveled alone, you were almost guaranteed to be robbed. Or worse, murder rates in medieval cities were 20 to 40 times higher than modern cities. London in the 1300s was more dangerous per capita than any city on Earth today. So between the disease, the violence, the rotten food, and the fleas, your chances of surviving medieval Europe were not great. But there's one more thing we haven't talked about, and it might be the most shocking of all. Here's something that puts everything into perspective. The average medieval peasant worked about 150 days a year. That's actually less than the average modern American who works about 260 days a year. They had more holidays than we do. The church mandated about 80 to 100 holy days per year where no work was allowed. But here's what they didn't have. No education. About 95% of the population couldn't read. No rights. Your lord owned you, your land, and your labor. No social mobility. You were born a peasant. You died a peasant. Your children were peasants. Their children were peasants. For centuries, you had no understanding of why you got sick. Germs wouldn't be discovered for another 500 years. People believed disease was a punishment from God, or caused by bad smells, or by the alignment of the planets. When the plague hit, some people blamed cats and killed them, which actually made things worse because the cats had been keeping the rats under control. Here's the final comparison that really drives it home. If you got a toothache in 2026, you go to the dentist. In medieval Europe, the local barber pulled it out with pliers. No anesthesia. Same barber also performed surgeries, amputations, and bloodletting. Your barber was your surgeon. Let that sink in. So, could you survive medieval Europe? Honestly, probably not. None of us could. We've gotten used to clean water, antibiotics, human rights, and toilet paper. We take these things for granted every single day, but for thousands of years, billions of people lived without any of them, and most of them didn't make it past 40. Next time you complain about your morning commute, or your slow Wi-Fi, or your slightly cold coffee, just remember, at least you're not eating rock bread and drinking beer at age 7 while your neighbor throws his waste out the window. If you learned something new, hit that subscribe button. We explain science and history using simple drawings every week. And if you want to know what would happen if Earth suddenly stopped spinning, watch this video right here. See you in the next one.